for these types of projects, it's nicer to make progress when we work together on it.
For slides to create the root node, uploading an image, tag main topic, summary title, structure the homepage. Do they have to create the starter children nodes, and then or leave starter children's nodes locked or unlocked to add more? Another page was create node screen, build off of existing tree, main text and subtext. We also have node description. So you click in a node, you see the links, people debating it, kind of like a wiki discussion, and then expanding the node view. When you click on a node, you see more about it. Not necessarily voting, but just like looking at the two different options or multiple different options. And then what I'm going to be working on the impact on students V2-4. Let me see what that is. Bro, when you come up with ideas, do you like write them down somewhere, or like what do you do with them?
I have a running list. Well, I don't obviously do it for like app. I'm not as much into that, but for like Blender and stuff like that, I just have a running list on my notes that I put my ideas there, and then I have a different notes for like videos that I want to make, like topics. But have you been keeping up with Glor, bro? Just dropped another Plankton song.
I think I heard it, but thought it was old.
It was. He dropped like in like the bottom 3, the very beginning of the music video has like Plankton doing some shit before
he gets
like
he dropped the full one of that, right?
The full one, yeah, that's the one.
I think that's like 2 or 3 weeks old. No,
is it really? Oh man, I'm behind the times.
Because I listened to it, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that he had dropped this at the same time, and I looked and I was like, oh no, he didn't.
When was it released?
Maybe he dropped it on YouTube and it just went up on Spotify.
Oh, like yeah, maybe it was released April 6th. It's only 3 days ago.
Like, come on, bro. 3 days in internet culture.
Keep up.
I think V2-4 seems so text dense. I guess it is a text dense page. Like if you've clicked that far, it's because you want to read through all the denseness.
Okay. You think that's
I think that's fine because you have to click kind of pretty far. You have to go into a topic, into at least one child node, and then into a child node of that.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, I'm working on if you were to make a sub node of what you just made.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
I forget, what did we say for this? So like we have 3 sections in every node. We have information of what the node is about, what nodes are under this node, and what's the discussion section, like the comment section of the node. I forget what we said about laying them out. Wasn't it like you have to read through all of the information on the node before you could either choose what are the sub nodes or the discussion section?
Like you can click on the node to expand it and see more about it, but that doesn't necessarily show you that whole detailed page.
Like it doesn't show you all of V4.
Yeah, it doesn't show you all of V4. It would just show you the little bit of ... like just a little bit more, and then it would give you the option to like click into it further.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Let me just walk through it real quick. Okay. You're on V2. You click yes. This is yes. There's not that much going on here because it's just a yes. So it's just showing you all of the different arguments for yes. Okay. So you're like, you kind of click on students and you're like, impact on students. You're like, okay, this looks interesting. Let me click into this node to read further.
Yeah, so it would expand it so that you could just see the rest of the ... text.
Yeah, and then you can
Then
click
it would
further
have two
into it.
options, like I agree with this, or like see further discussion.
I feel like it would make more sense to have the agree yes or no on the actual information first, because you could like you're only on this screen you'd only be agreeing with the summary of it rather than reading the whole thing.
Yeah, I think most people would just read the summary of it. They wouldn't necessarily
Okay.
go through each individual tiny little details on it. Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so then then you're like, okay, let me read further into it. You click into V4, for sure. Then you read through it. You're like, okay, this is interesting. But the whole point of this is that we have nodes on nodes on nodes. I'm asking, like, where are V4's nodes located?
V4 is a dead end. It doesn't have any children nodes. This is starting to get complex with like.
It's starting to get complex. What are long-term steps for this? I'm kind of curious. Like, once we get past, like diagramming out the basic user flow, like, what's gonna happen after that?
Honestly, we're gonna play it by ear and like learn the process. I guess it's not playing it by ear. We're gonna learn the process. I think next I would want to code up like just a basic app. The thing is that I'm kind of worried about like going too far too quickly, where it's like, oh, like obviously the first step of building an app is not to build the app, but rather just to design it and like think about what people would use it for and stuff like that. So yeah, I think once we have all this, I kind of want to design it like implement something very basic on like iOS that like we can like work on our desktops and just like run a simulation. And from there, I'd have to learn how to implement user profiles, how to like save data, stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Every stage, it should be the two of us working on that stage.
Yeah.
So like we'll probably both be doing like some coding. Your coding will probably more on the visual side, and then I'd probably be like doing like database integration.
Yeah, Loki, I think we got pretty good. You filled out the information, and then honestly, like my create node is like, I mean, it's not done, but the basics are there. So
yeah. After this, I feel like we don't really have much of anything else left.
yeah, there's a few small things that I need to do on the visual side. Like I need to add a discussion section. Actually, I think that's kind of it. I need to add the discussion section. And also potentially like a create node for making a topic.
So add discussion section, add create node for topic. And then I think we should pick some kind of color theme.
Next step visually, like overall, is to come up with like a design language for this. That's gonna be a bit like that's gonna take some time. I don't think we could start that. I don't know if we could start that on Saturday, but definitely next Wednesday.
Okay, yeah. Design logos and icons.
Also pick font.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting for me to do that. I've actually never needed to create a design language. I've always had to just like copy it from a company.
Hopefully one day we'll be that company where some young adult just like is like, oh dude, I don't want to work on this client's work.
Dude, that'd be sick. Yeah, I think it's really coming together. Honestly, the user flow is like starting to really come. I think another next step that is not necessarily right now, but maybe in like a week or two, will be to like get some feedback, some like user feedback. Like I'll show this, like show the user flow to Akash or something like that, or like you send it to, just real people, because it'll makes like one thing is obvious, like obviously with creating an app or any user flow, it's like it makes sense to us because we talk about it a lot, but it might make like zero sense to someone else. Yeah,
that's a good idea. Yeah, I think it's about it, bro. Yeah, it's kind of fun to see like how quickly we're progressing. This is what happened with Birdie Brigade, where we just kept meeting and it was like, oh my god, like we're making so much progress.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, honestly, like I think sometimes we how do I say it? Like I think for these types of projects, it's nicer to make progress when we work together on it.